Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by Sportsman's Warehouse and the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And this is my time of the year. Late October. I love it. I don't like those storm fronts that came through Germantown and us, some folks in the Mountain Oriah area. And, no power and things like that. But made it through it. Thought I was going solo here with Shelby McCall, our executive producer. But our man Johnny McFarland of the Mid-South chapter, Quail Forever, was supposed to be here a little later in the show. I said, he just popped on in here. Good morning, Johnny.
Good to be here, Larry. Good to be here.
Thank you. Always good. Retired man. Just life is easy. Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, it's a little quieter now.
Yeah. But you didn't lose power during the storm.
I didn't lose any power during the storm.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. But Johnny is here. We're going to talk to him about real soon about WIHEC. And what the heck is WIHEC? We'll talk to you about that because it's taken me a while to do that. But, I'm switching over to God's country now, Johnny. I'm sorry, but Northwest Arkansas. But these guys cover they cover the Little Red. They cover the
Spring River and
Spring River and the White River and what I call the North Fork of the White River. I'm not sure what he calls it, but we're going to talk a little trout fishing with our main man here, John Berry from the Berry Brothers Guide Service, out of that big metropolis called Cotter, Arkansas. And I don't know if the population is booming or if it ever did, but it's a great place to go. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Larry.
Okay, buddy. Tell us what's happening. It's October. I'm reading your reports. I see all the different things about the generations and what's going on with all the different the Roundhouse Shoals. I know where that is in Cotter, and John knows all about this. So what's happening trout fishing-wise?
Okay. Now, I haven't been on the river since yesterday.
Okay. That's close enough.
But they're still running some water. They're running less than they were. I was out in the boat yesterday. We did well. But we're figuring about a couple more weeks before we have a chance at low water.
Really? Okay. Mid-November. I mean, early to mid-November then, huh?
It's been a high water year, Larry. It's been a high water year. Right now,
it's very high in
Bull
those
Shoals
lakes.
is less than 2 feet from Power Pole.
Wow. And it's normally, what is it at this time of year normally?
It's down below Power Pole.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So Norfolk is about 2.5 feet from Power Pole.
So what does what does that mean for the layman fisherman? Not a lot of waiting time, right?
Okay. If it's above Power Pool, that means it's in flood pool.
Okay.
When it's in flood pool, it's controlled by the Corps of Engineers.
All right.
If they got water in the lake and it's in flood pool and they can run it, they run it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're
just one idea mentality. Get rid of.
and of course when you're thinking about this, and we're talking again to John Berry from the Berry Brothers Guide Service out of Cotter, Arkansas. He and his wife Lori and his late brother. I tell you, the man that taught me how to do it was his late brother, and I still think about them and them trying to help me become a fly fisherman, and we're still trying. But I hear this about low water. I know we got minimum flow a lot of times in the summer
Right.
times, but now when we hit this time of the year, we're 16 inches over normal here in Memphis. But we didn't have a drop in September. That was the most hottest, driest September on record. Now, and I'm assuming, I don't know what that's going to do, the trees and the changing of colors like it is, but are y'all that much above normal in your area?
Yeah,
Wow.
we're above normal. And the problem was that we had rain south of us
Yes.
that flooded the Arkansas
It
River
sure
around
did.
Little Rock.
Yeah, it did.
And when that happened, they couldn't run water, so they held it back. And we held it back a lot. And then once that cleared, then they started running big time.
And it's never stopped.
And it hadn't stopped.
And at this time of the year, so I know you have capabilities because you don't just wade, you also have that the boat ability, so to speak. But
right.
This is still a good time, right?
Yeah. I went out yesterday. Me and a neighbor fished for about 3 hours. We boated 15, 16 trout.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you just heard that this is a man who guides, and even when he doesn't guide, he goes out with a friend. So
well, it's kind of a busman's holiday.
Oh, it is.
When you get a day off to go fishing.
That's and not have to worry about your client or whatever it is in the boat
right.
there and everything.
On this trip, my neighbor took his boat. He drove the boat. I sat in front.
Oh.
I didn't re-rig him if he lost a fly. I didn't net his fish.
Oh, you just had a good time then.
I just sat there like a client.
Yes, and how much did you pay him? No, I won't get into that. No, we won't talk about that. Well, I wanted to ask you because you do such a detailed report of the conditions on the trout fishing streams in Arkansas, and it's obviously you put a lot of emphasis in this. And I probably have asked you this before. How long does it take you to do one of these fishing reports? I'm looking at it right now, and I got about 5 pages here printed off.
It
depends on how good, or you said
it depends on how much it's changed.
Okay, yeah, and
if they're doing the same thing this week that they were last week, there's not that much to change. Of course, I go in before I write the report. I'm looking up all the data, making sure I know exactly where the lakes are, exactly what they're running. And then when I go fishing, I'm sitting there at the parking lot before I launch the boat or at the access before I wade in.
Yeah.
And I talk to everybody there.
Oh, that's hard for you to do too, isn't it?
Well, it's a pleasant job.
No.
But and with the fly fishermen, 99% of them will tell you what they're doing, what they're catching them on. If they tied the fly, they'll probably give you one.
Yeah, and that's the way
it's very different from bass fishing.
It is very different from bass fishing. But I knew, and I when I read this week's fishing report, and we post this on lroutdoors.com. I know they use it in the Mid-South End Fishing magazine. It's one of our really favorites. So if you go to lroutdoors.com and click on all the reports, you'll see John's reports there. A lot of times he will have an article at the end, and I've got to talk to you a little bit about this because it says brown trout in the rain. Tell a little kind of synopsis of what happened that day when your wife Lori was out there on on Dry Run Creek, which maybe some people don't understand what it is also.
Okay, Dry Run Creek is a special stream we have here that is the most remarkable place to fly fish in the United States.
Yes, remarkable.
This is public water, and it's set aside for children and mobility-impaired adults.
Yes.
The fish are as big as your leg.
A lot of us have small legs, but some of them have bigger legs. But
the biggest fish that my young clients have pulled out was a 16-pound brown by a 12-year-old on his first day of fly fishing.
Well, this kind of leads into your article this week about a young lady who was, I think, 10 maybe.
10 years old.
Named Claire, and she had never fly fished before.
Right.
And then Lori took her, and you had a chance to observe all this. Tell us, I know we don't I think it's a pretty cool story.
Well, what Lori and I do, we like to work together. So if I'm not working and she's got a gig, especially on Dry Run Creek, I'll go along. It's like if there's two kids, one of us will take one will take the other.
Right.
And we sit there. We have a bunch of waders from various sizes, and we like to put the kids in waders so that they can get out in the water and really be part of it.
Yeah.
Then Lori took a while to show this young lady how to cast and how to fish. And then she stands there with her and coaches her throughout the day.
Okay.
And if she hooks one up, then she coaches her exactly how to get it in.
And you're watching.
So, and I'm watching. I'm standing there. Well, this young lady caught about 6 or 7 trout.
Okay.
And they were various sizes from, 12 to 18 inches. Well, she hooked a big brown.
Big brown. Okay.
Big brown.
Okay.
Big brown. And I knew that Lori was going to be really busy coaching that young lady in, because this was a very challenging fish. If you or I hooked that fish, we'd have a heck of a time getting it in.
You said in his report the trout was struggling like a wild Comanche. I don't know if I got any Comanche listeners out here.
It was going that way, and that girl was,
I understand.
She was busy.
So it was running back and forth, and yet what was the end result here?
Well, the end result was I grabbed a net and got in the water, and by the grace of God, I was able to net that puppy.
And how big was it?
It was about 25, 26 inches.
Now, I want you to know.
I have seen a lot smaller fish than that hanging on a wall.
I know. I've got my 30-inch. I have my picture of it, but I can't imagine a 10-year-old catching one that big. And what I really like, when you got down to I'm looking at it right now, and that's why you need to go to lroutdoors.com and look at John's report, because the last 3 words in that report was "life is good." and I guess when it comes down to it, John, you can write all the fishing reports that you can, but when it comes down to something, to see a 10-year-old catch a fish like that and never really had any lessons or anything.
Right. And, I mean, this one, Dad sat there and,
I can imagine.
Took pictures for about 10 or 15 minutes.
Yes, yeah.
And we'd put the fish in the net, put him back in the water. Dad would recalibrate his camera and would pull it out and take some more.
I can remember that. Well, buddy, I appreciate it. My goal in life, which will never happen now, I want a Dry Creek run for senior citizens, okay? I mean, we need to be chunked in there. Anybody that's over a certain age, I can imagine what you would need a paramedic there.
I was involved in taking some of the wounded warriors in there.
Oh, yeah.
And
did that not tug at you? Yeah.
And that was a special trip for me. Of course, I'm a veteran.
Yes, I know.
And I wanted to be involved in that. And we got special permission from Game and Fish to take all these guys in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a guy, he was young, he was really strong, but he had been involved in one of these IED things, and his brain kind of got shook up.
Yes, yeah.
He was an excellent fly fisherman. He came up to me and says, "I know how to tie the knot, but I can't remember."
Oh, bless his heart. Yeah.
And I tied a fly on, and he went back in the stream and caught another big one.
Well, that's what it's all about. Now, tell our listeners how they get in touch with you, John.
Berry Brothers Guide Service, www.berrybrothersguides.com, or 870-435-2169.
And that's berry, just like a strawberry or something.
Just like strawberry. Or if that's too much for you, just Google up John Berry Fly Fishing, and I will appear.
You will, and that's quite a chore for you right there. Okay. All right, John. Thank you, buddy. We'll stay in touch. Tell your wife hello, okay?
Will do.
Hope to see you soon. All right.
Will do.
All right. John Berry, let's take a break. Come right back, and we're going to try to talk, see if we can find out what happened at the President's Island deer hunt last weekend. If not, we got Johnny McFarland in the studio, and he and I can talk about a lot of things. We'll be right back. Outdoors Alert.